So welcome back to the London Football Show Live. So we'll continue with our highs and, well, this will be the low of the week that's been, and our infamous wooden spoon of the week, Kenny. Not many contenders.
Not at all, because you can't really look at the Charlton game, because Everidge had a fantastic game where he kept, well, we didn't really keep him in it. They lost 5-0, but it could have been worse. It could have been worse. And then you've got, it's very difficult to find something. Like when I was watching listening to the Christian Palace game, I was quite annoyed with a couple of Burnley's, especially the first two goals. It actually really annoyed me, especially with Ings' goal. However, Crystal Palace turned it around. And then I was struggling, and I thought, let me go in my memory back and go in the highlights again, watch some of the game. And I came across the game at Costa Stadium.
AFC.
I'm afraid
AFC
so.
Wimbledon.
And I looked at Akin Fenwa, he's put on the head. They looked great in control, and I looked at the performance of James Shea, who was an ex-Arsenal goalkeeper, and I think there was bad errors. The first two goals were embarrassing, especially when he's out of position. You don't come for a cross if you're going to get it, but when you miss a cross to a certain extent where the guy's got an open goal, then that's bad enough. But the second goal, when a shot's coming straight at you, you don't get your body behind it. You kind of parry it. And
he's effectively cost them the game.
He's cost them the game.
He has cost them the game. So I think he is our main one and only
he's
contender.
a culprit. There wasn't many culprits, but he annoyed me, really upset me.
So it's fair to say, Shea, AFC
absolutely.
Wimbledon, wooden spoon of the week.
Wooden spoon of the week.
It's a shame after their performance against Liverpool, and he played quite well there.
He did, but I think when you're in that situation, you can't, I seriously cannot, make these sort of fundamental errors, especially against a team like Carlisle.
It was second bottom before kick-off.
Exactly.
Now find themselves out of the relegation zone.
Thanks to like ineptitude from the goalkeeper.
Points dropped at home. So it's Shea of AFC. So we'll move on now to the Premier League. We'll have a look at how our London clubs did in the Premier League. We'll start with your boys, Arsenal, against Man City. Now, as you said, we all expected a Man City win, and what a surprise.
Arsenal I said on Twitter that for Arsenal to win the game at the Etihad, they needed to sacrifice Cazorla. Seriously, I said they should play Flamini and Coquelin as the two holding midfielders.
You did mention the change in their game plan was needed, and
absolutely.
Wenger's done that. He went for a more defensive approach, and it does seem to have worked.
Well, I think Arsene Wenger, a lot of people like myself are very critical of Arsene Wenger, but one of the things Arsene Wenger does is that if Arsenal get a hammering, then the next game they play against that opposition, or even the next game, they become very cautious. I remember one time where Arsenal, a few years back, Arsenal lost to Internazionale in the Champions League 3-0 at home, and the next game was against Man United. You know, the infamous battle of 2004, when 2003-2004 season, when Keown and Van Nistelrooy had their little strop. Well, Arsenal put 10 men behind the ball at Old Trafford because they got a hammering at Internazionale. Like Man City hammered us, so you noticed that Arsenal wasn't have that. So if you look at the games that Arsenal play, when Arsenal accept that they can still win games where they can have less possession, they've been very effective. You look at the big games of Arsenal won over the years, especially away from home. It's all the times when the opposition when they've only had about 38-42% possession.
But you only have to look at Chelsea and how they play against the big teams away, and they pick up points, and those points are so crucial come the end of the season.
Absolutely.
It's a massive 3 points for Arsenal.
And I think the thing is, when you play like that, you have to have quality at the other end. And I think in terms of Cazorla, and it was a penalty, so I don't want to believe that nonsense, absolute rubbish that you're hearing from the alleged renowned panellists who are saying, oh, it wasn't a penalty, it's soft. Sorry, you block someone in the box, it's a penalty. I don't care what anyone says.
I actually agree with you on that one. I think it was a penalty. I don't think there's any dispute.
And then obviously Giroud, what can I say?
It's a good finish.
Yes.
It was a good finish. Well done, Arsenal. We'll move on to Spurs. Spurs, they won 2-1 at home to Sunderland. Obviously, there was the goal that never was, but should have been. But good performance. But Eriksen, again, 88th minute winner. They've actually picked up 10 points this season from scoring goals from the 88th minute onwards. So a little bit lucky, or was it deserved?
You've got to realise that Sunderland, they've had a mixed season, but they've got a lot. Believe it or not, with players like Adam Johnson, obviously Defoe's first came back, it was a very hard game for Tottenham. Like, it's not a case of them making heavy of it. I thought Sunderland did get behind them, and they scored a very good equalised free kick with Larson. So they were in the game. But when you've got a player like Ericsson, who basically can create a chance out of nothing, or create to a centre, or even score out of nothing, you're going to win more football games than you lose.
It's almost like the season, Gareth Bale's last season, where he was popping up at the end, and scoring a lot of late goals, and they were so crucial come the end. It looks like the same thing's happening with Ericsson.
Well, that's the thing with Ericsson. The thing with Ericsson as well, he's got good dead ball quality. Another thing as well, he sees things. He's like, how do I say it? He's like the sort of player that is in the stands. He can see movement. Like when me and you are watching football, and we can actually say, run there, pass it there, because we can actually see the spaces. He's the sort of player like Dennis Bergkamp, is in the stands. He knows what's going to happen. And that's why Spurs are lucky to have that sort of player. And he's creating a lot of assists and goals. I mean, he's outshining Ozil.
And a little mention of their Capital One Cup game last night. They won 1-0 against a team 45 places below them. And they had to grind that result out. And they'll get through.
Well, you can never say never in football. 1-0 is a very slender lead to take.
Against a resilient Sheffield United.
Absolutely. It was a penalty, though. I'm sorry.
Was, yeah.
You can't say it was harsh or not. You know, you should keep your hands to yourself.
Should Adebayor have been sent off early on for his flailing arm?
I've seen referees not give anything for that. I think the referee's seen it.
On the flip side, you've seen referees give red cards for that as well.
I think then that's what you have with refereeing. You have the inconsistency. But I've seen loads of times where a player's just done that. It was intent. He raised his arm, no doubt about that. But you could say that he's waving his arm about because he's trying to get leverage in order to move away. So it's not as clear-cut a sending off as people would say.
But overall, 2 good performances from Spurs and 2 wins. So we'll get on to QPR now. Another defeat for QPR. What against Man United? So I think we expected it before kickoff. But with their away form, surely they needed something out of this game.
Well, you look at Queen's Park Rangers. I thought they played very well. I think Austin's, remember his drive in the first half.
Good save from
30 yards. So the Hayes made a great save. And I thought in midfield they battled a lot. And I thought Man United were a bit stale. Like I think what's happened is that even though the 3-5-2 they play basically stifles attacks against them, they lacked a bit of creativity from them. I thought they were there for the taking, but again, when you don't really have the quality, and even though you have the endeavour, it's not going to keep QPR up. And I thought that what it was is that Man United had the players off the bench, the world-class players who could actually finish the game off. And I thought
it was 2 substitutes.
Oh, actually, 2 substitutes, and there were 2 good goals really. QPR shouldn't feel any disgrace, but the bottom line is where they're on the table. You can't
19th,
keep on saying
they're sitting 19th now. And it does look doom and gloom for poor old QPR.
Well, if you look at their fixtures, we keep on mentioning in this show about the games they've got against the big boys at
all
home.
Coming to Loftus Road. But
yes.
Bit tricky for them to pick up points from those games.
Well, the bottom line is that they have to defend for their lives and make sure they have quality and take their chances when it comes.
Well, they got a week off now, so they'll be a bit rested as they're out of the cup. But so we'll move on to Crystal Palace. What a turnaround! They were 2-0 down to Burnley, and they won the game 3-2. Bit of Alan Pardew magic there, Ken.
I would think that he would have been furious with them when they're going 2-0 down. I think the 2 goals were avoidable in my opinion, especially.
Well, their 1 goal before half-time brought them back into the game and did come against the run of play.
Absolutely, but again, it changes Burnley's team talk. It changes Crystal Palace's team talk because if it's staying 2-0, Pardew's basically in the dressing room. He's basically having them against the wall. He's basically, waving his finger about at the whole defence, and we're having a go at Dwight Gill because he's not holding the ball up. But because he scores that goal, it changes the whole landscape. Burnley get nervous, the manager gets nervous, the crowd get nervous because it's too close to call. And it gives Crystal Palace something to have in the second half. And I thought that's why Dwight Gill was up there in terms of London Player of the Week.
Good goal from Punchin as well.
Oh, Punchin. I know he's basically back to the form he had under Pulis last year. He's playing it well above his ability. He's not what I wouldn't call him a journeyman pro, but he's a good player. But he's not a great player, but he's got managers who believe in him and getting really good performance out of him. So I think in that respect, that was a fantastic comeback. Not performance, comeback.
Great comeback from Palace, who find themselves in 12th spot now. We'll move on to Chelsea. Now, what a performance. 5-0 away to Swansea.
Aided and betted by Cameron Carter's division, but ruthlessness at its best.
It's not often you see Swansea turned over as easily as that on their own patch.
Again, when you've got a team like Chelsea who will punish you for every mistake, and if you notice that if you looked at one of Costa's goals, it's really one of the goals where John Terry's applauding because, you know, some of the best passes ever. I mean, don't anyone say that Chelsea play boring football. They're a team of all seasons, to the extent that their manager, when they're going 2-0 up, is actually saying, go up, go up. I've never seen Mourinho ever say to his players, get more goals. I've never seen it.
Well, speaking of boring performances, let's talk about their Capital One Cup semi-final against Liverpool. Parking the bus at its finest, Kenny. They had 35% possession. They had one shot on target. They've drawn the game 1-1, and Mourinho seems to think that's a fair result. Well,
again, it is a fair result because the onus is on the team that has the most possession to have quality to actually a cutting edge. But when you have that cutting edge, you need a goalkeeper to have a worldie. And then Courtois had a worldie. So that's why players like Courtois, goalkeepers like him, are worth millions and millions of pounds because of those sort of performances. Again, you can't blame Chelsea for the fact that Liverpool couldn't see them off.
They'll fancy it for the return leg, surely.
Well, they have to score early. If they don't score early, then it's going to be a long night at the Bridge, and we're talking 120 minutes, where it could be like 1-1 or 0-0. But I do think that it's going to go the whole way, and we're talking 120 minutes.
Do you expect them to get through?
They've got a very good home record, but it's a cup, isn't it? It's a cup. You know, Liverpool got just as right to be in that final as Chelsea. But
so it could potentially be an all London final.
Carling Cup special. Future shows, eh?
Wouldn't be bad for us.
Yes.
So we'll move on to West Ham quickly. So West Ham, good home performance. Took a while to break down. Hull did in the end, won 3-0, convincing.
Absolutely. Again, you look at the whole for West Ham's last 2 goals. It was a high line again, wasn't it?
But they did ride their luck a little bit in the first half. Hull were unlucky not to take the lead.
Absolutely, but
they've gone in 0-0 at the break. They've come out and
West Ham murdered them, innit, really.
2 goals in 3 minutes.
2 goals in 3 minutes, and and the third goal in terms of Downing. I've never seen Downing. I didn't know Downing had pace. It's like he's like a through ball. He's managed to outpace Curtis Davis and put it through an iron needle. I thought it was a very ruthless performance, and I think West Ham fans must be really happy and really looking forward to it. I think I was talking to a West Ham fan during the week, and he was telling me that we can actually try and win the FA Cup now because we're doing so well in the league. Big Sam has got no reason to rest players for the game against Bristol.
And Andy Carroll's come back firing. Obviously he got his goal, but you've got to look at the goalkeeper for that one. He's pushed it straight into the middle of the box.
He was, but again, it's one of those shots where, again, if the goalkeeper doesn't get his body behind it and behind the ball, he's not going to smother it. But if it comes with his chest, then yes, we've got problems.
But he's ended up parrying it back into the middle of goal as opposed to parrying it out. So that was the first goal of the game as well. But definitely. A great game from Valencia as well. He had a really good performance.
Again, what West Ham have, and which they haven't had for a while, is the ability to get behind defences with pace. Like obviously Valencia, you now got Dining's a strong runner, and obviously you've got Sacco when he comes back from injury, he's got a bit of pace. And it was a great ball from Alex Song for the final goal that completely split the defence. Exactly,
and as you said, the pace of Downing took him through.
I totally agree with you, but it's nice to see an injury-free Andy Carroll. It really is. And that's why I think he's playing like his life depends on it.
He looks like he's enjoying it as well at the moment. A great goal against Swansea a couple of weeks back, and then another goal. He does seem to be getting on the score sheet quite a bit.
It's man management, isn't it? Big Sam's management of him is very good. Like Brendan Rodgers, as soon as he got to Liverpool, basically said, "I don't want you in my team." He didn't even give him a chance, which I thought was quite ruthless. It worked. He was probably right.
He's come back strong. Yeah, he has come back strong. Well done, West Ham. So join us after this quick break when we'll be taking a look a little bit further down the leagues, and we have a special guest on the phone. So join us for that.